Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Joe Luca Real Estate Show right here in WNRI 99.9 on the FM dial, 1380 on the AM dial. And of course, you can also check us out on Facebook Live. And we upload the show as a podcast to Spotify about an hour after we go off air. And then it's rebroadcast again on Saturdays at 1 o'clock if you want to catch it again, if there's anything you missed. Folks, a little bit about me. As you know, if you've been listening, I am a realtor working at RE/MAX, and I work with buyers and sellers in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and we do residential and commercial real estate. So we currently have a nice commercial listing in Blackstone, auto repair facility, priced at $560,000. If you think you might be interested, give me a shout, 401-409-5030. We have a mixed-use property in North Providence, a residential property in Cranston, and then we have a couple of listings coming up. One that's going to be coming on the market here in Woonsocket, and then we have an Airbnb property, a two-family property in Johnston that, believe it or not, this one unit makes $4,700 per month in income. If that's something you might be interested in as an investment, 401-409-5030. I'd be more than happy to introduce you to that property. So the market is still vibrant. I'm almost getting tired of saying this every week because it's just so incredible, the energy level. And news this week, the median price of a single family home has reached all-time highs once again. But that is coupled with increases in the mortgage rates. The 30-year fixed rate, according to my rusty trusty Mortgage News Daily website, 30-year fixed 6.85, 30-year FHA 6.27, 30-year VA 6.3. Now, just for a little perspective, folks, on September 16th, the 30-year fixed was 6.14, and the FHA and VA were also significantly lower as well. Let me see if I can pull that up on here. It's not sure. It's not cooperating with me tonight, but they were also equally low. The 15-year fixed was also down into the fives. So rates have gone up since the Fed increased their Fed funds rate, the prime lending rate, because that is for short-term loans, not long-term loans. That's one reason. Number two, the market was expecting the Fed to drop the Fed funds rate, so there was no reason psychologically for rates to go down. And actually, again, they did increase after the Fed dropped the Fed funds rate. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, a little bit about the dynamics of the marketplace, what's going on with pricing, how that's impacting buyers, sellers, and then the psychology of the market. So much of what happens in our economy is psychological. People think it's a good time to do something, it's a good time to do something. If they think the economy is bad, they behave like the economy is bad. All the data could be the same. So it's really important to understand what the data indicate, because there can be opportunities for folks to take advantage of the current situation, whatever that situation may be, in real estate, especially when you're buying, it's the largest financial transaction of your life. You're going to be able to live in it and perhaps grow a family in that home as well. But one thing for sure, you will be able to create family wealth. The net worth of homeowners is over 30 times greater than it is for tenants. So that alone is a fantastic reason for folks to try to become a homeowner. If you're renting right now, you need to put together a game plan so that 12 months, 24 months, 36 months from now, you will be able to become a homeowner or a condominium owner or a multifamily home owner, because that's how you create family wealth. If you have questions or are interested in learning how to do that, reach out, give me a call, 401-409-5030. Before we proceed, I want to do a quick shout out to our sponsors. Thank you very much to Anthony Betancourt and Compass Title and Escrow. They're over in Lincoln, right off the highway, right off 116, and They do a great job taking care of our buyers and our sellers. That's Compass, Title, and Escrow. The team over there does a fantastic job. We also want to thank George Metz, Metz Moving and Storage, gmetzmoving.com, the premier movers in southern New England, whether you're moving from Woonsocket to Westerly or from Rhode Island to Georgia. Metz Moving can handle that move for you. Or even if you're looking to move furniture from one side of the house to the other, or get the furniture out of the house while you have work done on the house, Metz can do it. Just go to their website, gmetzmoving.com, and they will help you out. You can schedule a move at the website or get a price for a move at the website. And then, of course, Vern Rainville, public insurance adjuster. He is licensed by the state of Rhode Island. So if you are a property owner and you think you have a claim against your homeowner's insurance, please give Vern a call, 484-300-8495. Again, 484-300-8495. Vern can many times go back as far as 2 years ago for a claim, and he works for you, the property owner, not the insurance company. And he knows what to look for so that your home, after the work is done, after the claim is closed, you will be in a better position than you otherwise would be. So Vern Rainville, 484-300-8495. Please give him a call if you think you have a claim on your homeowner's insurance policy. That being said, I want to, we're really lucky tonight. We have another fantastic guest in the show. Colleague of mine, another realtor who works at Keller Williams Leading Edge in Lincoln, Bryan Quinlan. Hello, Bryan. Welcome to the Joe Luca Real Estate Show.
Hey, Joe. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you having me here.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So, folks, I wanted to have Bryan come in. Bryan, he's a youngish guy. You know, he's a dad. He's a husband. He works hard in the business, and he's an astute business person, an astute person of real estate. You know, he has given some interviews, did a really good job representing us realtors, us real estate professionals. And I thought it would be great to have him on the show so we could talk a little bit about his experience and observations with today's market, because everything is going so crazy. Bryan, tell us a little bit about your business and how you got into the market and what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. So I've been a licensed realtor for about 7 to 8 years now. I started right when I got out of college. Didn't per se like what I did when I got out of college, like most.
Mm-hmm.
And now I obviously don't use my degree that I'm still paying for.
Yep.
And I enjoy what I do every day. I enjoy meeting new people every day. That's one of the greatest parts of this job.
Yep.
Even realtors, and just talking with different realtors, talking with different attorneys, talking with different clients, just learning more about them and more about what their goals are.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, how I got into it was through a Facebook post. It was my old baseball coach who I played summer ball, semi-professional ball down in Newport, the Sunset League. I played for him, and he was a broker at the time. He now works for Century 21. I worked for him for probably about a month or so. Just wasn't getting the support that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
I jumped over to Keller Williams Leading Edge. They really got my business jump started and ready to go. I would recommend anyone that's looking to get into the business to look into, all your options. Don't
Mm-hmm.
just go with your first one. Make sure you look into your options, as there's always something out there for everyone.
Yep.
You find your way through.
Exactly. Yeah, I tell everybody when they ask me, I say, you know what, interview the brokerages if you're a new agent, a new licensee, because you need to find a place that you're going to be comfortable with, because you can have 100% commission split, but if you're unhappy where you work, it's not worth it.
No, it's never worth it being somewhere you're unhappy.
Yeah.
I recently left a brokerage that I wasn't per se happy with.
Yep.
Now I am more than happy being back home with Keller
Good.
Williams.
Excellent.
So is my wife.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So right, he, Bryan has an awesome opportunity because he gets to work with his wife, his partner, in business and in life, and and they're a dynamic team. So tell us a little bit about, now, did you get into real estate first, or did Rebecca?
So she pushed me to get into real estate. She's
Yep.
kind of the driving factor of why I'm a realtor.
Yep.
At the time we were. I think I was 22. I was 22 years old, working up in downtown Boston, making the commute from Pawtucket, Rhode Island to downtown Boston, Park Plaza Hotel, to manage a gym. And she was a pastry sous chef at Strip by Strega, which is one of the higher-end restaurants in downtown Boston.
Yep.
And from that, I saw a Facebook post. My old coach was, starting a brokerage, looking for agents. I was like, you know, should I try to get into this? And she's like, yeah, go for it, do it. And she's like, it's a good way to start, and it's possibly a good way to make a decent living and work for yourself.
Excellent.
We've always kind of had the entrepreneurial spirit. That's kind of, I graduated from Johnson & Wales. That's where I met my wife. Background there. So they always taught to be kind of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And they have the entrepreneur spirit, and I personally like the entrepreneur
Yep.
way of working. Like working for myself, like to be able to have the freedom to do what I want with my son when I want to, or with my wife when I want to. And this job has fortunately allowed me to, with the clients that I met and the people that I've built relationships with.
Excellent, excellent. Now, quick question as an aside, has nothing to do with real estate.
Of course.
How do you describe, like, what the abbreviation for Johnson and Wales? What is it?
JWU.
JWU. Okay,
Yep.
because my wife went to Johnson and Wales, and she argues that it's JW, and everybody's like, no, it's JWU, it's JWU. And I'm like, honey, it's JWU. She's like, no, it's JW. I'm like, nope, it's JWU.
Yeah,
So,
JWU.
yep.
JWU.
Good. I will share that with her when I get home. So now, you know, the median price of a single-family home in Rhode Island, unbelievably, is $485,000. I remember, it seems like, well, I think it was just a few months ago, we crested 400. Now we're up to 485. What have you observed with your clients, your like primarily buyer clients, because I think they're the ones that are kind of like getting hit in the face with a 2x4 with these prices?
100%. There's a lot of people that are selling their houses and they struggle to find something else that's affordable and comparable to the house they have currently. It's hard out there, especially if you have a decent house in a decent area with, you know, recently updates that you've made to the house.
Yep.
To sell your house, get the money that you can obviously get because you have equity in the home, and prices are obviously up from even a year or 2 years ago. So if you've been in your home for a while, it's tough to sell your house and go find something that's comparable.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing that I've had with clients, is trying to find something that's comparable to what they live in currently.
Yeah.
Because prices are up from when they purchased.
Yeah, and that's a challenge too, because you know, you don't want to have to, if you're, you know, step up buying, you don't necessarily want to have to buy something and then completely go through the house, but sometimes you may be forced to do that.
Correct.
Because to get what you want, you know, you have to add the value yourself.
Correct.
You know, it's a tough situation, you know,
It
for a
is.
lot of buyers and first-time home buyers. Good grief! I mean,
Yeah.
have you been seeing a lot of intergenerational home buying as well?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's become more commonplace because you have a lot. If a house is listed for say 400,000, which is below the median house price and
Yep.
the average house price in Rhode Island, you're going to get multiple offers. People are going to waive inspections, possibly cash, and then if you're a first-time home buyer, trying to compete with those things is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
So you see parents and their kids
Yep.
looking to pool their money together and get something, say, in the 700,000 to 900,000 range.
Yeah.
As opposed to buying a $400,000 house. The parents will sell their house, move in with their kids, and
Yep.
find something that's bigger.
Yeah.
and better.
Exactly, and you know that's why, folks. I mean, I think it's 27 or 28% of all purchases are cash purchases still, and I think it's another 24% on top of that are like large deposits. You know, so if you are a home buyer and you don't have the benefit of either of those two situations, just be patient. You know, make sure that you are diligently looking. You know, if you're working with a good realtor, I mean, and they're sending you listings to look at them. And if there's anything that piques your curiosity, let your agent know, let your realtor know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I would also explore loan options as well.
Yes.
You may be able to buy something that, say, needs $100,000 worth of work. Use a 203K loan to try to get you to where you need to be, and possibly under that median home price when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
So there's options out there. You just gotta be creative, be patient, and save money.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing too, you know, it's so important. I mean, you just heard some, you know, golden advice from Bryan, and these are reasons why it makes sense if you're a home buyer to work with a realtor. You know, sign the exclusive buyer agreement.
Yep.
You know, the realtor has to get compensated. They'll ask the seller to do it, but if they can't, I mean, you be prepared to compensate your buyer agent. You know, that's because that's the situation, the business climate has changed due to some things outside of our control.
Yep.
But
Ever changing. You just have to deal with the road bumps. And
exactly,
go through.
exactly.
I'd say 95% of all I'd say almost higher than that. Probably 98% of all transactions that I've been a part of. ever since the NAR settlement,
Hmm.
the seller still pays all commissions.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But
Yep.
there's instances where they don't,
Yep. Yeah.
especially if it gets competitive.
Yeah.
If you want to be more competitive with your offer,
Mm-hmm.
take that chunk of change out if you can.
Yeah. Exactly. Because that's one thing, folks. You know, the sellers, they're looking at the net cash to them.
Right.
So, you know, one offer is asking them to pay the buyer's agent commission, and another offer is not, and everything else being equal, guess who's going to, you know, get the nod from the seller? You know, have you any other crazy things or any situations that you've like observed over the past 6 to 12 months?
There's
Just
a lot of houses not appraising.
you've had a lot
I've
of
run into a lot of appraisal issues.
yeah,
Either A, the houses just aren't listed right. It's
Yep.
maybe something was illegally done to the house, and ADU wasn't legally permitted.
Mhm.
So you can't add value to something at that point that wasn't legally permitted. You have
Right.
to go back and re-permit everything.
mm-hmm,
And then with multifamilies, it's just people just throw crazy numbers out there.
yeah,
Like I have a listing in Providence in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood. We listed it at 500. We're under contract for over 550, and we had probably 6 or 7 offers that
Wow.
were all in that same type of range. Waived inspection, multiple waived inspections on a multifamily
in Mount Pleasant.
in the Mount Pleasant
Wow.
neighborhood.
Holy crap, man!
Yeah, about 550.
Yeah, and so that's it, folks. I mean, you know, the numbers are unbelievable. I mean, homes in Central Falls, $600,000-$700,000 all day long. You know,
Correct, for multifamily properties.
yeah,
The train station does a lot. I think the growth of Boston and the surrounding neighborhoods in Boston has a lot to do with the increase of sale
Yeah.
prices. I met other realtor probably 4 or 5 years ago, prior to COVID. I sold a 2-family property that converted to a single. He was going to convert it back, make it condos on the east side of Providence, which
Mhm.
he did. And he was from the San Jose area in California. And he studied that area and that market. And what happened was when San Francisco boomed with the internet boom, San Jose, which is 45 minutes or an hour outside of
Mhm.
San Francisco, it grew with it.
yeah,
So similar to Boston here, Boston has grown exponentially.
yeah. Oh, it's
since
unbelievable.
COVID.
Yeah,
You go up there, it's like being in New York City now. You
It
can't
is.
park, you can't move.
Yep.
It takes you an hour just to get out of the city,
Mhm.
onto the highway, never
Yep.
mind home.
yeah,
And I think that's kind of what we're dealing with. It's an ever-changing environment.
Mhm.
We have businesses that are starting up a lot in Rhode Island, even downtown Providence.
Yeah.
You see a lot of businesses expanding and growing, and new businesses starting up. It's a tough place to open up a business in
Mhm.
Rhode Island per
Yeah.
se.
Yep.
But it's happening,
yeah.
and
And-
people are
and-
making money.
Exactly, and the thing is too, you know, just turn the camera around for a second. People ask me, they say, "Well, Joe, why is it that prices, you know, are still going up?" And I was like, "Well, it's supply and demand. There is a demand for houses." And they said, "Well, why is it our population isn't changing that much? We're still hovering right around 1 million." But it's like, yes, the number of bodies in the state changes, but people grow up and they need to create new homes. So when you were 5 years old, you were counted as one person. Now you're still here, but you're 25 years old, and you need to find a place to live with your wife or your kids or whatever the situation is. So that creates a strain, and we've been building 1,000 to 1,500 too few homes for the past 10 or 15 years. So if you add all that up, that's our shortfall in the marketplace. So no matter what we do, it's going to take a long time to dig ourselves out of this. And one of the most important things we need to do is to make it easier for builders, for developers to build homes so they can make money. That's why they're doing it. And sometimes the state tries to help. Joe Shikarchi, Speaker Shikarchi, has done a fantastic job of, you know, pushing through legislation that could be beneficial. But some cities and towns they're trying to do an end around and make it, you know, more difficult because they don't want more homes in their towns and within their borders than they have now. So it's chicken and the egg kind of a thing, and it's unfortunate. But we definitely need more housing. We need more rental housing, and we need more homes for sale. So I say this all the time, folks. Get involved with your local political process, town council, city council. Go to the meetings, pay attention to what's going on. The developers are not always the bad guys, okay? Because if it's easier for them to build a home, that is one more home that someone else can purchase or rent, which creates an opportunity for for a young family. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on any of that, Bryan?
Yeah, I mean, I know in Johnston, where I live currently, they had a condo development right by the school that kind of caught a lot of citizens by surprise, and I think it's a great thing. You
Yeah.
have Amazon coming into Johnston that's going to
Yep.
open their doors. You're going to have employees. They're going to need housing.
Yeah.
It's just simple economics. When
Mhm.
a company comes in, especially as big as Amazon is, people are going to need houses. People are going to need a place to sleep and
Yep.
to house their family.
Yeah.
What better way than to put up a 20, 40 unit condo development?
Mm-hmm.
It's good for the city. It's good for taxes. It's good for
All the small business
All
people
yours.
there, you know, all
Yeah.
little restaurants, bars, you know, stores.
Yep.
That helps them, you know, because those people now they can go there and go out to eat and do their shopping and everything they need to do. So it really has a, you know, a burgeoning, you know, explosive, you know, impact on the local community. So kudos, you know, to you, to your mayor, and I mean, yeah, getting Amazon there, that was huge.
Yeah, just getting that done and even getting the condo development done says a lot about, what he's willing to do and what he's done for, the community.
Mhm.
Building a new elementary school, redoing the playground. It's important to get involved politically and to know what's going on, especially
Yep.
if you live in an area. Just to know how, because as the area grows, your house gains value.
That's right.
These things go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Central Falls. You open up a train station, your house is now worth 50% more.
Yeah, exactly. And that, you know, another thing, people mostly people who live in Rhode Island, they get down on Rhode Island and, you know, they think that why would someone want to live here? And you know what? We have a really good quality of life. And you can, you know, shake a stick at all the lots of, you know, issues we have politically with this, with high, you know, you can make a list. High taxes, the schools aren't good enough, they're not as good as Massachusetts. But our quality of life, we have a great quality of life here. You know, you can get to the beach in the summer in an hour or less. You can get to go skiing, you know, in a couple of hours north. You can go into the city in Boston in an hour or so. You can drive to New York City in 2 or 3 hours, depending upon time of day. You know, so we have a lot going on here, and it's great for businesses to locate here, even global international companies, because we have great surface transportation, our highway network. We have great railroad transportation for freight. We have seaports. We have a deep water dock at Quonset Point, and we have air. So it's like however they want to transport their product, we can do it in Rhode Island. The cost for labor is lower here than it is in Connecticut, New York, and Massachusetts. The cost to buy a home here is less, and you have a pool of potential workers because the colleges and universities within an hour drive are some of the best in the world. So we've got a great pool of college graduates that these companies can draw upon to do their logistics or whatever it is that they're going to be hiring for. So we have a lot of great things here, you know, and it's awesome hearing, you know, the success stories, things that are happening in Johnston, and because it's not just big businesses, they're doing things with, you know, because of a big business that helps small businesses as well, and that helps homeowners in, you know, in the final analysis. So it's, again, creating wealth that can be passed on to different generations. You know, so we're very fortunate. We have a lot of good things going on in Rhode Island, you know.
I agree.
So, shifting gears, Bryan, now you, so you and Rebecca work together. How do you guys, you know, I said it's two for the price of one. You've got a great, you know, dynamic duo with the two of you. So when a client works with you, do you handle certain things, or does she handle certain things, or is it just like catch as catch can? How do you divvy up the you know, the job list?
Yeah, so basically, everything on the back end is kind of done together. As far as like paperwork and things like that, basically whoever's available, whoever's not on an appointment or on the road. Obviously, you can't write up an offer on your driving on 95.
Yep.
But as far as clients go, most of the time we'll set up a group text with the client, and it just keeps communication more seamless because you have two people to respond to you.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those people care equally as much to get
Yep.
you where you need to go, and they both understand your process.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most beneficial things of working as a team, whether it's with your wife or whether it's with another colleague that you trust and
Mm-hmm.
per se you want to work with.
Yep.
There's power in more than one person. You know, the power of two is real.
Yeah.
It's-
Absolutely.
Getting back to clients fast is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's there's bad feeling when you're at a closing and you're at an inspection or you're at a showing and your client texts you and or calls you and you need to call them back, but
Yeah.
you can't because you're
Right.
busy. And
Yeah.
an hour later, now your client's busy and now you don't talk to them until 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Now the problem or the question is either forgotten or a lot bigger than it is.
Yep.
So I think it kind of simmers down the issues that arise for a normal day-to-day solo agent.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you have a good system. Me and my wife have been together for 10 years now, so we know each other like the back of our hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what she's thinking, she knows what I'm thinking at every time, and we have a very similar personality, but obviously different in our own ways, and clients know that, and clients like both of us for our own individual reasons.
Yep.
And we both have equal experience.
Yeah.
Which is one of the most amazing things.
Yeah, exactly. That's, fantastic. And I marvel at you guys too, because I think it's so awesome seeing a husband and wife couple that can do that and make it work.
Yeah.
Because so many times in our industry, one spouse is in the industry, the other spouse is not, and they don't, understand the,
Right.
the vicissitudes of the business. And
Yep.
sometimes, if you don't do a good enough job controlling when people can contact you, and you're getting phone calls at 8 o'clock at night, and it can be tough, and
100%.
it takes
100%.
sometimes there's a learning curve there that a lot of
Definitely.
agents have to figure out.
Yeah, especially when you have young kids. Like we have a 3-year-old son who is obviously everything to us, and we're able to divvy up our time to make sure he's always
Number
paid
one.
attention to, has what he needs. And
Yep.
it's important.
Yeah.
Because he can't be watched all the time.
Right. Right.
We have to watch our kids sometimes.
Yeah.
We can't just send them to daycare with grandma and grandpa all the time.
Exactly.
And we obviously love and enjoy the time with them. So it's nice to work as a team, because if you're not a team, you have your clients, I have my clients, and we're both off doing our own thing. Whereas a team, I can watch him, or she can
Yep.
watch him, and the other one can do it. And
So
get what's done.
how did you find what lessons because you played semi-pro baseball, so you understand the dynamics
Yep.
of a team
Yep.
and how important it is to function for a team to function as a unit. What dynamics or lessons did you bring from the baseball diamond to the real estate office?
Don't let anything ever rattle you. That's the biggest thing.
Yep.
No matter who's yelling at you in the stands.
Yep.
Just stay focused. It's very easy in this business to get caught up in the weeds or get caught up in a certain situation, and I think it's best to just stay focused. Like I was a closer in baseball, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to going out on the mound and there's no outs and the bases are loaded, and good luck, you got to get 3 outs and you got to let that kid on third base not score.
Right.
And I've done that multiple times, and I hold a lot of records at Johnson and Wales for
Mm-hmm.
saves, and I think it's just important to stay focused and stay on track, and that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Always don't let that outside noise in, and there's no one's bigger than the team. I think
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, yeah, that fantastic pointers. It's so important. I remember I read something one time where I think it was Chuck Yeager who broke the land speed, record or something, and they asked him, how did you, you were so calm and collected when you were doing that, and he said, yeah, I was calm and collected as far as everything I was communicating with, whoever the people he was talking with. But during that whole process, I messed myself because that's how nervous I was. But no one knew
Yeah.
I had to be cool, calm, and collected and do the right thing. And now we're not doing something crazy like that in real estate, but it's important.
Yeah.
And if you have the great benefit of having, to be a closer, that's significant. My daughter, she goes to UMass Boston. Her boyfriend, he plays for UMass Boston baseball, and yeah, so we kind of geek out a little bit about that sometimes. So yeah.
It's a great sport.
Yeah, because there's a lot of strategy to it.
100%.
A lot of
It's
strategy
not
to it, and it's a sport that I was never good at, but I understand how much strategy is there, and I enjoy listening to people when they kind of just talk about all the strategy stuff. It's like listening to someone talk about rocket science,
It
because
is.
there's a lot going on there.
Yep. Yogi Berra, one of the greats. Baseball is 99% mental. The other half is physical.
Yeah.
He's 100% right about that.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've taken into real estate. It's just the mental aspect of
Yeah.
it. Just mentally be there every day.
Yep.
Mentally check in every day.
Yep. So now, who's your favorite baseball team? Pro ball.
Yankees.
Yankees. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're rooting for
Yeah.
Yankees,
Yeah.
and you're a
Grew
happy
up
guy.
in the early 2000s, and Derek Jeter was my favorite player. And
Yep.
just liked the way he carried himself, liked the way he presented himself. He was always professional, always.
Yeah, he was a total professional.
and
He was. I
that's
mean,
what
he was a
goes
s-
through me.
yeah, yeah. What do you think is going to happen with the World Series? Like, how do you think it's going to go? Is it
I
going
mean,
to
I
be?
know a lot of people are complaining that the Yankees and the Dodgers are in the World Series, for obvious reasons, because most people don't like the Yankees, most people don't like the Dodgers.
Right.
But I mean, you have 7 or 8 of probably the biggest names in baseball going head to head.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen often.
Right.
You know, you have the 2 number 1 seeds going at it, and what's better for the game than that?
Yeah.
I mean, I say Game 7.
Yeah. Oh, you think so? Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You have 2 evenly matched teams as long as the Yankees bullpen shows up.
Yep.
You have the best hitters in baseball on one side. You have some of the best pitchers in baseball on the other side. And
Yeah. That kid Ohtani is
Tio
unbelievable.
Ohtani, he's incredible. You can't really get around him. And then you have Mookie Betts,
Right.
Freddie Freeman,
Yeah.
Kershaw,
Yeah.
Juan Soto, Judge. I mean, you got the biggest names in baseball all on the field. What's better for the game than that?
Yeah. It should be great. Should be able to get a lot of viewers to watch that game. So.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope it's the most watched World Series.
Yeah.
Bring something back to baseball. It's been missing for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Also, like with all the young guys in the game, it's been bringing some youth back into the game.
Yep.
More interested.
Yep.
Filling up the stands a little more.
Yeah.
So,
I was
it's
at
good
a commercial real estate conference a year or 2 ago, and A-Rod was there, and he was, I think it was 2 years ago, because he was talking about how he just purchased the Minnesota Timberwolves basketball team, and he was talking, and he was like, you know, I love baseball. I played baseball, a great sport. He said, but my kids, they don't want to sit in the stands and watch a baseball game. They'd rather watch a basketball game. So that's why he bought the team.
Right.
But he was talking about all of the attributes
Yep.
of baseball, and it's just, you know, it's different. I think
It is.
the changes that they've made the past few years
Help.
have helped tremendously because the culture has changed.
Correct.
You know, and you know the culture has an impact on everything: baseball, you know, basketball, and of course real estate. Let's bring it back to real estate. You know, how we do business today. You know, if you haven't purchased a house in 10 years or more, the process is very different.
Much different.
How you go about finding a home, putting offers in, the paperwork, and then on the mortgage side, the finance side, completely different. Not as crazy as it was right after the great crash, like in 11 and 12, there was so much paperwork, but they cut back on a lot of that. But it's a very different process, so it adjusts. You know, we have to adjust as realtors because, excuse me, we're dealing with, you know, the interlopers of, you know, they're run by big hedge funds that they want to kind of circumvent us like they do in Australia. And, you know, there are other countries in the world that don't have realtors helping. Their people buy and sell real estate, and it's to the detriment of the consumer. The consumer is the one who takes it on the chin,
100%.
you know.
Couldn't have said it better.
So it's, you know, it's important. This is, folks, this is one of the reasons why, one of the several reasons why I wanted to have Bryan on the show, because people like this who take pride in their work and their clients and representing themselves and their company and the industry well, is a net positive, because Bryan and I, we add value to our clients' transaction.
Right.
You know, and if you are going to be meeting with a realtor, one of the questions you should ask them, him or her, is what value do you add to the transaction?
Yeah.
You know, how committed are you to helping me buy or sell a home?
100%.
You know,
Experience, there's a lot of different ways you can judge experience as far as real estate. I tell a lot of people it's not the amount of years you've been in the business, it's the amount of houses you've been in, the amount of inspections you've been on, the amount of houses you've sold.
yeah,
Because in the last 3 years I've sold 100 houses. There are a lot of realtors out there that have been realtors for 20 plus years that
haven't sold that
haven't
many.
sold nearly as many.
Yeah, exactly.
And where I started from, I started working for a high producing agent for the first 5 years of my career, and I went on 2-3 inspections a day for 3 years straight.
Wow.
So as far as the in and outs of the house, I know them pretty well.
Yeah,
And that's, you know, as a realtor, that's what you want to bring to your clients.
Exactly.
At the table. You want to be able to go in a basement and say this is this, that is that. Your heating system is probably X years old. Your roof looks X years old because it's an architectural shingle versus a 3-tab shingle. You want to be able to look around the neighborhood and explain that to your clients.
exactly.
And
Because they don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah, most people buy 1, 2, maybe 3 houses in their lifetime. So if that's 20 years apart, you know, they're 3 different
Very different.
situations.
Very different situations.
You know.
But that's the benefit that I believe is very important
Mhm.
when you're buying a house, knowing the in and outs of it, especially in a market like this where it's competitive.
Yeah.
Because I can comfortably go in a house and say you can waive an inspection on this and you won't have any problems.
Right.
unless there's obviously something unforeseen, because you don't go in an attic at, you know, a showing most
Yeah.
times. But
Yep.
that's a benefit. So
Yeah.
working with a realtor that has that experience.
Yeah.
And every realtor has something different about them.
Exactly. And again, it's not, I want to, Brian picked on something that's important. It's not the number of years, because I could be in the business for 30 years and sell one house a year. I don't really have any experience of just doing the same thing once a year.
Right.
You know, you need to, you know, and then by the other token too, the other side of the coin too is, you know, you need, a consumer needs to know what the realtor is going to do for them. I sold 200 homes last month. All you care about is how I'm going to treat you.
Right.
And so it's very important to have a rapport with your realtor, and it's also important to understand how they do business and how they communicate, and be comfortable with that, so that you can feel comfortable asking questions and knowing that they're going to be there for you, and not, oh, I've got my other job, I can't talk to you until after 5. That can be a problem if you have a question about the check you need to bring to the closing tomorrow and the banks close at 4, you know. So these are things that are, you know, important, and you can interview your realtor in the beginning and get the answers to a lot of these questions. But the big thing is you want to be comfortable with him or her, you know.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Even as a realtor, being comfortable with your client helps the transaction in many more ways than one.
Right.
Just communication's better. It's more open. You don't feel awkward at any time because you have a good rapport with the client.
Yeah.
Rapport is the most important thing in the world when it comes to building relationships. If you have no rapport, there is no relationship.
Yeah. People like doing business with people they like, know, and trust.
Correct.
So rapport is a very important part to getting that done. You know, if you want to talk a little bit more about your business, do you focus in on any type of buyer or client? Like if you know, said, hey folks, this is what if it's a listing you have now, I need to get some buyers for this listing, I'm looking for this type of buyer, I'm looking for this type of seller. Anything that you know you want to talk about regarding your business now to just share with our listeners?
Yeah, so I have a few listings right now, a couple coming up in the next coming weeks. Right now I have a single family listing in Cumberland, getting a lot of good traffic on it. It's listed at $779. It's off of Farm Drive, which is right behind the high school. Great location, great neighborhood. I sold a lot in that neighborhood. The value is there. It's three beds, 3 baths. Recently updated. He recently painted the whole outside. Put in a new pool. Put in new Trex decking. New mason work all outside. Inside's recently refreshed with new paint. And that one's listed at $779 in Cumberland. Address for that one is 36 Sandy Way. And then one I have coming up, it'll be listed on Thursday. That's on Douglas Pike in Smithfield. It was built in 2020. So a newer home in Smithfield, really nice house, really well maintained. The buyer of that house custom built that house. The builder said, this is the material I'm using. She said, no, please use this material. So there's a lot of materials in the house that are of higher quality. As you know, if you walk in new construction, sometimes quality isn't the word you use. But this one is an exception for sure. You have radiant heat in the bedroom, high-end cafe appliances with a nice glass front, gas cooking with actually a vent that vents outside.
Yep.
It doesn't just circulate into your house and set off your smoke alarms every time you cook.
Yep.
That one's going to be listed at $775, 3 beds, 3 full baths. I believe it's a little under an acre on Douglas Pike in Smithfield, close to the North Providence line. Again, newer construction, rare for Smithfield. Not many new construction houses in Smithfield, as we hit upon earlier.
Yep.
New construction has kind of hit a lag ever since COVID, because builders aren't making the money that they need to at the end of the day. That's their job. That's how they make their money, and they're not right now.
Yeah.
So they're on to different projects.
Yep.
And then I will have a 2-family coming up in Pawtucket probably next week or so. That's
Good.
also a newer construction, built in 21.
Now, do you have any buyers that are looking for homes in certain areas? And maybe if somebody's thinking about, well, I know someone who may be selling or something like that. Any neighborhoods or types of properties you're looking to find for buyers?
Yeah, it's tough for buyers right now with the lack of inventory and everything going so fast. It's tough. You gotta really be out there and be on top of looking on your search, whatever
Yeah.
your dedicated search site is.
Mm-hmm.
I have a buyer right now. They're trying to look for a house in North Providence at that 400,000 range, and
Yeah, not much.
it's tough.
Yeah.
You know, everything that's out there, that 400,000 range, needs work.
Needs
'cause
work.
You're below the median house price in Rhode Island. That's just reality of where we're at in
Yep.
the state. So it's tough for them to adjust to that because a lot of those first-time home buyers are talking to their parents, or
Mhm.
talking to older sisters or older cousins, and they're telling them X, Y, and Z. And
Yep.
unfortunately, we're not buying in 2010 or
Yeah.
2020
Exactly.
or even 22.
Yeah, right.
It's a much
Yeah.
different time now.
Exactly, it's a much different time, and one of the challenges that I've encountered with some buyers that are in those lower price points is that now they're competing with flippers.
Yes.
You know, so you're trying to buy a house, you know, with a rehab loan, or maybe
Yeah.
take it as is because it doesn't have a lot of major stuff, but it's so rough and tumble, you know, that a flipper's like, hey, I can buy this house and I can fix all that stuff up and then add some more value so I can sell it for an even higher price. And you know, these are challenges that we as realtors encounter with some of our buyers in those lower price points, and I feel terrible, but that's just the reality of the situation.
Same. It's
You know.
the toughest part of our job.
Exactly. And folks, if you have a problem and you get angry about that stuff, call your local politicians and complain to them. Because when they do things like, you know, if we're offering tax credits for first-time home buyers, or we're offering more free money to first-time home buyers, that creates more buyers. If we have more buyers in the same amount of inventory, what's it going to do? Economics 101, it's going to push prices even higher. So we need to get more inventory.
Yep.
You know, one of the great things that we are able to do is we have accessory dwelling units. That's helpful, okay, making it easier for homeowners to add an ADU or an in-law apartment. Tiny house legislation, we're getting that passed. That's going to be helpful to alleviate some of these pressures as well. These are like the quickest things we can do. But folks, if we started building houses today as fast as we could in this country, it would take 10 years to dig ourselves out of the hole that we're in. So the situation, the reality of the situation that we're in right now isn't going to go away anytime soon, barring some global calamity. If we don't have a global calamity, we're going to be in a tight real estate market for the foreseeable future. I mean, those are my thoughts. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, the buyer incentives don't help; they hurt the market. The money that you're getting for free, quote unquote, because it has to come from somewhere.
Yeah, right.
It just gets raised in the home price.
Yeah.
You know, when that credit went out, I think it was a $16,000 credit that came out probably a few months ago over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
House prices raised equally at that time to the amount of the credit.
Yep.
So the $400,000 house is now $420,000.
Yep.
The buyer incentives don't help anything.
Exactly.
You need a seller incentive.
And then we just passed. The legislature just passed the mandatory electrical inspection before houses can be sold. So that's another cost that a home seller has to incur
Yep.
before they can sell their homes. What's that going to do to home prices? It's going to push them higher.
Right.
And next year, they're already trying to pass legislation that does the same thing with radon. Home has to be tested for radon before it goes on the market. That's not a law yet, so folks, contact your local state rep and senator and let them know how you feel about that, because if that is an expense that the homeowner is going to have to incur, it's going to get passed on to the buyer.
Mm-hmm.
This makes it harder and harder for buyers to buy homes. Homes get more expensive, so
100%.
No.
And then with the whole buyer agency now being negotiated and it's not agreed upon,
mm-hmm.
you know, when you list a house, it also raises house prices, in my opinion,
Right.
in
Yeah.
more ways than one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so in the end, what's happening, folks, is we're making it more expensive for home buyers.
Mm-hmm.
We're not making it less expensive for home buyers. Okay, folks, you're listening to the Joe Luca Real Estate Show right here on WNRI 99.9 FM, 1380 on the AM dial. We're also on Facebook Live. You can catch the show after the fact on Spotify as a podcast, and then we rebroadcast it Saturdays at 1 p.m. right here on WNRI. Our special guest tonight is Bryan Quinlan from Keller Williams Leading Edge in Lincoln. And I want to do a shout out once again to our sponsors, Compass Title and Escrow. Anthony Betancourt and his team over there do a fantastic job taking care of our buyers and sellers of commercial and residential real estate. George Metz and G-Metz Moving and Storage, gmetzmoving.com. The best move you'll ever make, whether it's moving furniture from one side of the house to the other side, moving your home from Woonsocket to Westerly, or moving from Rhode Island to Georgia, G-Metz is the team to connect with, and that's gmetzmoving.com. And of course, Vern Rainville, Public Insurance Adjuster, licensed by the state of Rhode Island. He works for you, the homeowner, not the insurance company. If you think you have a claim, even if that claim, the occurrence was as far back as 2 years ago, Vern may be able to help you. 484-300-8495. Again, 484-300-8495. Vern Rainville, Public Insurance Adjuster Extraordinaire, as I like to say. So Bryan Quinlan's here. We're talking about what's going on in the real estate business. He has some great listings that he just shared with us. He's got single families in Cumberland and Smithfield. He's got a 2-family coming up in North Providence. No, Pawtucket. My bad, Pawtucket. So Bryan,
we also have one in Charlestown as well.
Charlestown as well. So now let's say someone wants to get in touch with you. What are the best ways for people to reach you? Either socials, phone, text, etc.
Yeah, social. I'm on Facebook. My name Bryan Quinlan, Bryan Quinlan, Quinlan. Phone number, I'm always available by text or phone call, 401-215-7582. Feel free to reach out at any time. My phone doesn't shut off. I'm always responding to clients at 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Wow, good for you.
Just why leave it for the morning?
Right. Okay, good for you. Excellent. So, folks, yeah, Bryan Quinlan, he's always available for you if you want to reach out to him. Buyers and sellers, we are competitors and colleagues. And that's a great thing about professionals in this industry. We, work together, we support each other, and, try to do what we can to move the ball down the field for the benefit of the consumer.
Correct. We're always on the same team. Never in
Exactly.
competition.
Exactly. Right. So that's the whole team thing. And I was just talking to Bryan before we came on air about he has such great leadership skills and qualities. He should get involved in volunteer leadership for realtors, because I think he could do a lot as things free up with his schedule at home, because of course having a 3-year-old, that's priority number one.
Correct. Him and his Halloween decorations are number one priority right now.
There you go.
His favorite holiday.
There you go.
Appreciate all the kind words, too.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. So as I mentioned earlier, folks, Bryan's wife Rebecca, she also is in the business. They work together. They're a team. So we're going to get her on the show in a few months. So she can talk about the business from her perspective as well, and maybe give us some other insights as well. If you have any questions, I'm going to turn the camera around, folks. For me, my number 401-409-5030. You can reach out to me about the 2-family house in Johnston that's coming on the market. We have a 3-family, a mixed-use property in North Providence that is on the market, but it's a quiet listing. It's a pocket listing. Then we have an auto repair facility right here on Rathbun Street in Blackstone that's on the market. That's priced at $560. And we have a really nice single-family home, 3 beds, 1 bath in Cranston on Woodland Ave, priced at $435, which is a bargain when you think of the median price of a single-family home in Rhode Island at $485,000. So that is a heck of a bargain. The sellers are eager to move that home. So please give me a call if you or anyone you know may be interested in that home. 401-409-5030. And if you are a buyer, okay, you can reach out to me again at the same number, 401-409-5030, or text me at that number. Tell me what you're looking for, and we'll try and find it. The best number for people to reach Bryan, I've already forgotten your number. What's your number?
It's 401-215-7582. Again, call, text, anytime.
Excellent. So, folks, we have a very vibrant market. If you are putting off buying a home, don't. Because Bryan and I were talking. It was just a few months ago that the median price of a single-family home in Rhode Island surpassed $400,000. We're knocking on $500,000 at $485,000. That's an average price. You know, Brian was talking about his upcoming listings that are in the 700s. That is a big number, but if the average price is 485, it's not that big of a number as you might think. Okay, so don't delay. At least reach out, try and get the ball rolling. You know, a journey of 1,000 steps starts with one. So you need to start putting a game plan together. If it's, you know, improving your credit, if it's saving some money, if it's prioritizing, what do we want in a home? Do we want a single family, a multifamily? Do we want something far out in a rural area? Do we want something a little bit more densely populated, like in an urban area? These are questions, and there are no right or wrong answers, except you need to know where you want to go, what you want to do, and you know, who you want to do it with. And then, of course, you need to get approved by a mortgage lender. You know, Brian and I are very like-minded in that we support local mortgage lenders. We both use Don Miller at North Point Bank. Don does a great job, but there are lots of other lenders. We've had Joe Baptista on from Anchor. We had Steve Tetzner on from U.S. Bank. So, you know, there are a lot of really good lenders out there, and rely on your realtor for who is a good lender for you to use, because they know your situation, the type of property you're looking for, and they know your personality. So they can give you a recommendation for a lender that will be a good match for you based on the empirical objective items as well as the subjective personality traits as well. Not everybody gets along with everybody, so rely on your realtor to match you with a lender, a loan officer, who would be a good fit for you. So folks, we're coming up to the end of the show. I want to thank Bryan Quinlan from Keller Williams Leading Edge. Turn the camera around, Brian. Say hello and goodbye.
Hello and goodbye.
All
Thank
right.
you, everyone. Appreciate you having me, Joe.
My pleasure. And again, please share your phone number.
Yes, phone number is 401-215-7582. If you want to get a hold of me, like I said, anytime, always available, and I'll get right back to you.
Excellent. Text or voice. Okay, folks. So we are going to be back on the here next week, same bat time, same bat channel. We're going to have another special guest for you. You know, I try to have some great engaging guests every week, so you, the consumer, can learn more about the industry and the different things that we do. But bear in mind, folks, interest rates have been going up. The mortgage interest rate, 6.85 for a 30-year fix today, 6.27 and 6.3 for the FHA and the VA mortgage. So don't delay. Start putting a plan together to buy your home. Conversely, if you're thinking about selling your home, we're getting into the colder weather. Maybe you want to start doing some prep work to prepare your home so it can hit the market in the spring, for the spring market. Okay, you don't have to wait that long, but if you want to, you know, take your time in preparing your home, you can certainly do that. All right. So, folks, thank you very much for tuning into the Joe Luca Real Estate Show. We will be back next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel, right here on WNRI 99.9 FM, 1380 on the AM dial, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, guys. Thank you very much.